To the Goose of All Trades podcast. And unfortunately, I was meant to be joined by a co-host. Unfortunately, I had to pull out. He was busy at work. Fair enough. So I already had a backup planned. And unfortunately, they got COVID and they can't really speak. So just me tonight. But this is going to be a proper podcast episode. Hopefully, this will be available on Amazon Music and maybe Spotify very soon, a couple of days. Just got to apply and wait to be accepted. I've been told that I probably will be, but it's probably a couple of day turnaround. So at the moment, all my episodes are available on YouTube, but hopefully all my episodes will be available over on Amazon Music, definitely, and maybe Spotify. Keep everyone posted on my socials about that. But yes, we are predicting the 2022 World Cup. Now, with everything, political, all the human rights stuff, not focusing on that because this really isn't a political episode. I might do a video about that political side in the future, maybe, if that's what people want. If there's people voicing their opinion they want to say it, I'll do it. If not, all good. But I really just want to focus on the sport of football in this. So I think we're going to be treated to one of the best World Cups in a very long time. If that be upsets, just the quality of the matches, the big moments, the great goals, I think. Just from what we've seen in previous Euros, previous Asian Cups, previous CONCACAF tournaments and all that, and what we've seen in the Nations League, I think we're in for a very, very good World Cup. Unfortunately, we are robbed of seeing a few world-class players due to Qatar obviously being one of the hottest places in the world in June, July, when it's usually held. So we are now having to hold this in the middle of pretty much all the top-tier league seasons. So a lot of injuries, a lot of players missing out, which is unfortunate. There's always players missing out due to injury, but this time it's a lot more just because of even hamstring injuries that usually take 3 weeks. They'll be missing out on majority of the World Cup, so some people haven't been chosen, some have, but they barely play. So we're lucky that we're going to get some world-class players still playing and probably playing a bit injured, like Alphonso Davies, Son, so many players. But we'll get into predictions, so I'll go group by group, and then I'll probably focus on the last 16, see how that goes. It'll probably get a bit dicey if you get one team wrong in the group stage and your whole bracket's stuffed up. But the first group, a lot of people are saying is very boring, but I disagree. I think it's very interesting for the fact that 3 teams are really battling for that second spot. This group is Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands. Obviously, Netherlands is going to top this group, no doubt in my mind. Really no doubt in my mind at all. They're going to top this group. Will they lose a game? Maybe, probably not. Will they draw a game? Possibly. Possibly. We'll get to that. But the other 3 spots are really up for grabs. Everyone wants the second spot, not the third or fourth spot, but unfortunately for Qatar, even though they're the host nation, we've seen host nations be carried by being the host nation, going further than what they had any right to be. You have Russia in 2018. You have South Korea in 2002. But Qatar just hasn't got the quality team at all. I don't think they have one player that plays overseas. But I don't think that really means too much. If you have half your team that plays locally or nationally, but you have the other half playing overseas in Europe, Central South America even, but to have your whole team play in your country where your league isn't that good to begin with, Qatar's league, isn't a top tier league or even close to it. So that really worries me looking at their list, but they do have some good quality players. I won't lie and say I can name, half the team or anything, but looking at their list, a lot of these players played the Asian Cup and they were very impressive. They won it when they had no right to win it in United Arab Emirates. No one tipped Qatar to win. Sorry about that. No one tipped Qatar to win. I definitely didn't, and they ended up winning 3-1 in the final. So against Japan, which was a very good team. They were my pick to win, to be honest, and they beat them 3-1. So a lot of those players are playing in this World Cup. I don't think they're going to get smashed every game. Will there be some hefty scores against them? Probably against Netherlands. Yes, I think so. I have Qatar finishing 4th, maybe 3rd if they get a win or 2 or 2 draws or 1 draw. I don't see them going pointless though. I think they could pull a point from Ecuador, maybe Senegal, but I don't see them definitely not advancing. They could finish 3rd. I wouldn't be overly surprised, but yeah, I would fall off my chair if they got 2nd or 1st. 3rd, interesting. So 2nd and 3rd is obviously Ecuador and Senegal. Senegal are probably the strongest team coming out of Africa. If you look at recent form, If you look at the team playing, they have a few injuries, unfortunately. We don't know if some of their top players are playing or not. But in my opinion, definitely the strongest African team, closely followed by Morocco. But I'm a statistic guy and I'm also a history guy, and a lot of people don't see it that way, but I do. Stats and history don't lie. Morocco have barely won any games in the World Cups they've appeared in, compared to a team like Senegal, which has advanced out of the group before. And I know they're completely different teams in different generations, but you do have that history come down, and you do have that. What's the word? Like, you do have that. I can't think of the word. Anyway, I can't think of the word. The culture. Sorry, the culture brought down. Right? Yeah. See, it's like in club soccer, a big top tier team can have one team 4 years later, a completely different team, and still win the whole thing like they did 4 years earlier. It's the culture it's created, it's the leaders you have, it's the coaches you have, it's your government and your footballing body that's willing to put money and all that in, and Senegal just looked good this World Cup. Like I said, they are held back by a major injury or two, unfortunately. But if someone's going to draw Netherlands, it's going to be Senegal. If someone beats Netherlands, it'll be Senegal. I don't see that happening, but if you look at Netherlands losers, it's probably going to be Senegal. But Ecuador, very underrated team. They don't have the best record at the World Cup, but also definitely not the worst. They don't boast top tier players that I can name. And I'm not going to lie, I can't name every player in every team. But look, Senegal and Ecuador, they're really battling for that second spot, and it could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Senegal win. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Ecuador advance. If I have to pick one, I will go Senegal second. So go Netherlands, Senegal, Ecuador, Qatar. I don't see Netherlands dropping that first spot. They're one of my picks to actually win the whole thing. People definitely disagree with me in the comments, but I just think you look at Netherlands' team, you look at their history at the World Cup, just so impressive. They just deliver and deliver and deliver. Off to Group B. In my opinion, probably the second most exciting group because of who's in here, the dynamics, who can actually advance from this group. You have England, Iran, United States, and Wales. Now that's just so exciting to me. You have obviously the natural rivalry of Wales and England. It's just going to be an absolutely insane game, and that's going to be the second to last game of the group, of this group. So, yeah, it's just an interesting group. You have England, who probably should have won the Euros. They didn't. They choked, as everyone makes jokes that England do. They finished fourth at the previous World Cup. Very, very good showing, high-scoring showing, with Harry Kane obviously kicking as many goals as he did. Very impressive. You have United States, who haven't qualified for a World Cup since 2014. Very weird to say, because United States kind of always one of those teams that's there. Then you have Wales. I'm half Welsh. If anyone doesn't know that, any of the viewers don't know that, I'm half Welsh, so I try not to be biased, but maybe a little bit of bias will come through, and I don't mean to, I apologise, but I'm very excited. It's the first time Wales have qualified since 1958, so my dad is almost 60. He's fully Welsh. He hasn't even seen Wales play in a World Cup before, so that's how long it's been for Wales to be in the World Cup. So that alone, I think they're going to be carried by their fans, because football in Wales has now become the number one sport by viewership and money and all that, taking over rugby. So football is definitely big. Gareth Bale, one of probably the biggest Welsh soccer player of all time, football player. Then you have Iran. By far the best Asian team, in my opinion. If you look at on paper, but also in qualifiers, they are just so impressive. They play as a unit. They don't get a lot of high scores kicked against them. That just goes down to their grit, their grind, their defense, their team play. They're just so impressive, and they haven't always had the best World Cup history or results. You have a look at other teams like South Korea, Japan. They've made it out of the group multiple times. They've looked really, really good, but Iran is always one of the best teams in Asian qualifiers, and they're also currently the highest ranked Asian team. So, and you look at the rankings of this group, I think Wales is sitting 19th. You have Iran, 22. England's in the top 10. United States, I'm not entirely sure. But a very, very highly rated group. You have United States, where they probably should have advanced in 2018. They had quite a good team. They now don't have veterans like Michael Bradley or Josie Altidore anymore, which is going to affect them a little bit, I think. But they've got high class. We won't talk about their manager. I think he's completely wrong for the job. I think they made a mistake with going ahead with him to coach the World Cup. But hey, I could be proven wrong. He might make it look like the fool, and he might get United States to finish second or even first in this group, and I'll look like the idiot. But I stand by that. I think it's a very exciting group. I think Iran are very, very unlucky. I think if they got in that first group, for example, instead of Qatar, they could have finished second. I could honestly see them beating Senegal and Ecuador. This group, harder. I see England. Look, England, they have these teams that they don't always play great against. England lost to Wales in the 2016 Euros. Obviously, it's that natural dynamic, that natural rivalry between Wales and England, and also United States and England. It's just, a lot of the fans, like I listened to Simon and Randy on the What's Good podcast, and they were saying the same thing, that in a kind of fun way, the United States are annoying, like the team and the supporters. If United States beat England, they're going to be like, we told you it was soccer, not football, That's just what Americans like, and that's all fun, that's all part of the game. United States is just... And that's right, Randy on What's Good was saying that United States are just a very excitable, fun team, and they are. And so are their fans. And if they get a lot of fans in those stadiums, which I think they will, because United States are just sports crazy, as much as us Aussies, and that's what we're known for in the world, they will travel and they will really try and make United States feel as though they're playing at home every game. So, look, this is a hard group to predict. I don't think I'm going to get this group right at all. I do want to make some big calls, some big upsets, because history tells us there's upsets every tournament, but I do have some upsets later on, so I won't use them here. I still think England will finish top. I really wouldn't be surprised if England lose to Wales or draw with Wales. They'd probably beat Iran. United States, look, that could go anyway. This United States team is very hard to judge. They are quite young, inexperienced. Like I said, a lot of players haven't played a World Cup before. Majority of the team hasn't played a World Cup before, obviously, because they missed 2018. But I see England top. I see Wales getting out of the group. I do. I see Wales getting out of the group at number 2. Now, this might seem like a big call, but in my eyes, it's not. I see Iran finishing 3rd. I see them just missing out on advancing. If that be by a point, or by goal differential, or by yellow cards. I think I see United States finishing 4th. But it's a hard group to predict. I don't really want to undersell Iran, although they don't have the best World Cup showing. They are just so impressive, and I really like to see a lot more Asian and African teams advance, because they're always the two areas that don't always get many teams advance. So I would really like to see Iran advance. Don't see them advancing here, but I would be happy if they did. Could be wrong. Wales might finish bottom, and I might look like an idiot, but I think Wales just... Gareth Bale's first and last World Cup, I think he's going to ball out. I think he's going to get multiple goals. And, if he makes it to the final... the group, can't speak English. If he makes to the 16 stage, the last 16, I think he's going to have more than 5 goals in total. So I think he's going to ball out. So yeah, I have England, Wales, Iran, United States. And we go to Group C. Interesting group. I think we all know who's going to win, but it's Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Poland. I don't want to be too harsh or too much like a dickhead, but Saudi Arabia's no chance, in my opinion, of even probably winning a game in this World Cup. They advanced, or I won't say easily, but they didn't advance the hard way in the group. The qualifications. They never do, but then they always disappoint in the World Cup. They always do. Well, they have recently. They are very flimsy. They're easy to score against. They're so inconsistent. I think, going to cop a lot of shit for this, but I think they're probably the weakest Asian team. Now, I know that's worse than Qatar, but I think Qatar, if they can pull a point or 2 points from draws, the crowd will be able to carry them to those points. Saudi Arabia, even if they get a lot of people travelling, I don't see it. They're just, if they finish 3rd, I'll be very surprised. Not overly shocked. I don't think it's impossible. They're not advancing from this group. There's no chance in hell. You have Argentina, Mexico, Poland. Argentina's getting that top spot without a doubt in my mind. They might drop a point in a draw. Sorry, get a point in a draw. Mexico, Poland, very interesting. Mexico haven't been very convincing in the qualifiers, that's for sure, or even friendlies. They've looked very consistent. Their manager isn't 100% well liked by the locker room from what I've heard and what I've read. Poland, very disappointing last World Cup. They were ranked, I think, 12 in the world. They didn't advance. I think they finished last in the group. Very disappointing. But you have Robert Lewandowski, who has just amplified his game so much more since then. He's one of the best players in the world. I mean, last year he was probably the best player in the world, in my opinion. This year he's still in the conversation for sure. I think he's good enough to carry Poland to that second spot for sure. And I think if Argentina do get a draw, it could be Mexico or Poland. I think if it's a draw against Poland, because Poland are a very top tier team and they're just very, very good. They have a new manager. I think they're playing really well. If Argentina draw against Mexico, I think it'll be that natural rivalry there. Both countries that adore football. That'll just be interesting in the geographic sense as well. But yeah, I think it goes Argentina, Poland, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia. Sorry if I'm too harsh on Saudi Arabia, but I do get disappointed with them every time. Because like I said, I'd barrack for Asian teams in all the World Cups, and Saudi Arabia always disappoint me. They look good in the qualifiers every time, and they disappoint. So, and after that drubbing against Russia, hard to come back from in the last World Cup opener. So, this group, the group that I'm really stressed about, Group D, I'm a lot more confident about Wales getting out of their group. But Group D is France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia. France topping this group. I always say without doubt in my mind, if Denmark really want to play their best and France kind of fall apart, I wouldn't be overly surprised if Denmark finished 1, France 2. But I still see France being top tier good. I don't see them losing to Australia or Tunisia. Don't see them losing to Denmark. I see maybe a draw. If it is a loss to Denmark, it'll be 1-0 and it'll come from a free kick or a penalty. Calling it now. So 1 will be France. 2 will be Denmark. I think, Christian Eriksen he's playing pretty good football considering, he had a heart attack, 16, 18 months ago. They've still got some top tier players. They play really, really well. Tunisia don't have a lot of top tier talent, but neither do we, Australia. So I think the Australia-Tunisia game will probably be game of this group. I know that's stupid considering that I'll probably say Australia 3rd, Tunisia 4th, or vice versa. I think it's going to be just a very important game. It's the second game for both teams. If they want any chance of advancing, it's going to be such a big game for both because, look, Australia's going to drop the first game to France without a doubt. Tunisia will probably lose to Denmark. And then you hope France-Denmark draw. And then if you're Tunisia, you hope that you beat Australia and France. I don't see it happening. But, yeah, I see Australia 3rd, Tunisia 4th. But like I said, I really wouldn't be surprised if us Aussies finish 4th. Is there a way that we advance from the group? Yeah, there is. There is. If we lose to France, beat Tunisia... beat Tunisia. Don't see us beating Denmark, but if we draw, there's 4 points. France finish first, and then if Denmark lose to France and draw with Tunisia, we'll have more points obviously than them. So there is a way. Is it possible? Yeah, everything's possible. Is it most likely? No, not really. I just want Australia to have a better showing than last tournament. It was very disappointing as an Aussie fan. We showed a lot of promise in that first game. Got unlucky with a few calls. We lost it. We don't have Mile Jedinak this tournament, which really worries me. He's such a great leader. He's such a big, strong body. He was very reliable when it came to penalty and free kicks. He scored, I think, almost all our goals last World Cup, which wasn't a lot. But yeah, that's how I see this group. I think it'll be an interesting group. But yeah, that's my predictions. Is obviously France, Denmark, Australia, Tunisia. Group E, interesting group. We have Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, Japan. Now, when I said earlier that I think that I'm going to make some big calls, this is one of those big calls. Bear with me. One's Germany. A lot of people picking that spot for Spain. I see it Germany. People are writing Germany off, and I don't know why. They have still some world-class players. Marco Reus, probably not playing World Cup. Very disappointing. He's missed so many big tournaments with injuries. It's devastating for him and for the German team. Second, Japan. Okay, let me explain. And then Spain 3rd, Costa Rica 4th. Japan are just hell exciting. And that carried them last tournament. They made the round of 16. They were so close to advancing. They didn't, unfortunately. But they've just got such a good team. A different team, though. Different team. They don't have Keisuke Honda. They don't have... who else do they have? Shinji Kagawa, I'm pretty sure didn't get named. So, different team. You have, just an exciting team, a good team. If I'm picking one Asian team to not disappoint and really go to the round of 16, maybe further, is Japan. They perform so well at tournaments. Asian Cup, they made the final. Or the Final Four. Previous World Cup, pretty sure they made the final. Previous Asian Cup, they made the final. Round 16 last World Cup. They're impressive. They know how to perform on the big stage, unlike Saudi Arabia. Unlike other teams. They know how to perform. And hey, I could be wrong. It might be Germany third, Spain first. That is where I could be wrong. Japan are coming out as group. I guarantee it. Japan are coming out as group. Costa Rica might cause some issues for teams in this group. They might not beat them, but they're gonna push them. They're gonna push them to either possibly a draw against one of the big teams, or I don't know. But they're gonna push them to score. I don't see Costa Rica being in boring games. They're gonna want to score. They're gonna want to really show it, and the other teams are just gonna have to try and bring it. So yeah, I see this group: Germany, Japan, Spain, Costa Rica. Group F. This is the group I was talking about. This is the most exciting group in the World Cup, bar none. It's not even a discussion. This is the most exciting group. Why? Because every team can make a shot at coming out of this group. Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. If that's not the most exciting group this World Cup, then I can't trust you as a person if you don't think that. It's just so exciting. I mean, you have Croatia. They made the previous World Cup final where they probably could have won. Sorry. You have Morocco, in my opinion, the second best African team, and their list is very different, but they have so many world class players. Canada, the best team from their region, they just won the cup, and then you have Belgium, who came third last World Cup. Everyone's saying that their golden generation is not dying off, but getting older. They're falling off. I still think Belgium are a very good team. The number one spot is going to be really hard to pick, but I think they'll probably go to Croatia. I think Croatia's almost a lock to come out of the group, but it's not a lock if they finish first or second in my eyes. I see Croatia one. Look, my brain says one thing, my heart says another. My heart wants to go Morocco. I've travelled to Morocco. I love that country. They're one of my teams I'm barracking for behind my two main teams while I was in Australia. Morocco and Japan being the others. They're very similar to Japan. They're a very likeable team. They're very exciting. They have a lot of promise. They have a new manager. Hopefully he can bring some rejuvenation into the team after the manager being not the best. Canada, hey look, Canada, like I said, I won't be surprised if Canada come out of this group. They're going to want to really perform. They're one of the co-hosts for the next World Cup, so it's good that they've qualified, a bit like Japan in '98. They wanted to qualify before they were co-hosts in 2002. Yeah, look, I probably see it. Croatia, Belgium, Morocco, Canada. That could change. It could be Belgium, Canada, Croatia, Morocco. It could be Canada, Morocco. Imagine if Canada, Morocco, two non-European teams advancing out of the group. That would be outrageous. I'll be so excited for it. And hey, look, it's not impossible. I don't care what you say. You can't convince me. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Impossible is Japan and Costa Rica being the two teams advancing. That's impossible. Canada and Morocco both advancing is not impossible. Is it likely? Probably not. Not impossible. So, yeah, that's probably how I go. I probably go Croatia, Belgium, Morocco, Canada. That could change. This group, I'm not putting any bets on this group. It's too hard. Group G is Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. This is a very exciting group as well. Probably equal second most exciting, if not third. Brazil, number one team in the world. They look like they should win this. If Brazil do anything but make the final, it's going to be a loss. It's going to be an underwhelming World Cup for them, like the previous World Cup was, and the World Cup before that, to be honest. Because they are just stacked. They are just stacked. You look at their lines, their second-string players could probably beat a few African, a few Asian teams. I'm not lying. It's just a stacked team. Switzerland coming off a very impressive run in the Euros. Serbia, same, looking very good. Cameroon, don't write them off. These African teams, they are exciting. And I'm saying that about all the regions teams, but Cameroon are an exciting team. They always have been in the World Cup, so they always are at the African Cup of Nations. They always are. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring group, close group. I think there's not going to be a blowout. Could be Brazil, Cameroon, but I don't see Serbia and Switzerland blowing Cameroon out or any other way either. I see Brazil topping the group. Again, if they kind of just go through, it's really not going to look good for them in the round of 16. They make their fixture a lot harder. But I see them one. I see Switzerland second, Serbia and Cameroon. Yeah, it's a hard group as well. It's not as hard as the previous group. This is a hard group. Brazil are guaranteed to come out of the group. If they don't, it'd be worse than when Germany didn't advance last World Cup. But yeah, so I see Switzerland coming through, but I won't be surprised if Serbia 2 and Switzerland 3rd. Cameroon could pull a 3rd if one of the other 2 teams have a terrible tournament, that being Serbia, Switzerland. But yeah, that's how I see it. I don't see Cameroon advancing for them, but I think they can maybe upset someone. If that being a high-scoring draw, if that be stopping someone from advancing, like we see South Korea, no chance of advancing last World Cup, but they beat Germany 2-0 and stopped Germany. Cameroon could be that team. They could fuck over Serbia and Switzerland come through, or vice versa. Who knows? Who knows? Group H, really interesting group as well. I mean, oh God, all these groups are just panned out so well. Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. I think Ghana probably the second worst African team in this World Cup. Tunisia, in my opinion, being the worst. But Ghana still have some top tier players as well. Their list looks almost as good as Senegal's, but they just have not the best run at tournaments, especially World Cups. You have Uruguay. I think their window's over. Does that mean I don't think they'll make the round 16? No, I think they can still come out as group for sure. For sure, I think they can. That's not an impossibility. Can they make the final 4 semi-finals? No, I don't think so. South Korea, all falls on one man's shoulders. That sounds really rough to the other players. They've got a lot of top-tier players, don't get me wrong, playing in the best leagues in the world, but I'm not even going to name him. Everyone knows who I'm talking about from South Korea. He's incredible. He'll be playing with a face mask, but to my knowledge, he'll be playing the full tournament, which is great. We weren't sure when he got that facial injury if he'd be playing at all, let alone playing the whole tournament. To my knowledge, he's playing the whole tournament, which is great. He might come on as a sub in the first game, but after that might start. But South Korea, like I said, they were disappointing last World Cup. Their team was probably better than Japan's on paper, maybe. But Japan was the one that come through and looked really impressive. South Korea looked not great. But Portugal, everyone's dreaming of that Portugal-Argentina final, which can happen. If they both finish in the same position in their groups, it can happen. Yeah, look, I see Portugal topping the group still. I don't think this is they're gonna blow everyone out of the water though. If they drop a game, I really won't be surprised, or if they draw one. Second spot, yeah, I see that going South Korea. Yeah, I do. Uruguay 3rd, Ghana 4th. Ghana could get 3rd. Are they advancing? I don't think so. Could they pull Japan previous tournament? Maybe. There's always a few surprises. But if I'm using my logical train of thought, I'm going Portugal 1, South Korea 2, Uruguay 3rd. Uruguay could top this group. I don't see them doing so. But then again, I think it's probably more likely Uruguay top the group than coming last in the group. So there is that. But yeah, I think that's how I have it. And yeah, that's the last of the groups. Now, I won't do the round of 16. That just might get a bit too confusing. But I want to say who we're playing in the final, but I don't know if my bracket will even work out that way. The 2 teams I say, because I'm not using a bracket in front of me or anything. I've just got the team sheets and the groups in front of me. The winner. Now, like I said, I'm a stats guy. Stats tell us that in 25, 30 years, the team that comes in number 1 seed don't win it. That's just an incredible statistic to me. And saying that too, no team outside of the top 18 has won the World Cup, ever. That being France at 18th in 98, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. Wales sitting 19th. I'm hopeful that they set the record for that. I'm not very hopeful, but So does that mean Brazil don't win? Possibly. Like I said, that'd be drastic for that national team and the supporters if they don't make the final. If they make the semi-final and they're losing a penalty shootout, that could be accepted. They could still get third, podium finish. God, if they lose in the quarters or before the quarters, I'd have to be a Brazil player. They're going to get roasted by their supporters and the media and everything. Finishing a bit like Germany were in 2018. They were just ran through the mud and they weren't even the number one ranked team in the World Cup. So heading into World Cup. So I do have Germany and Netherlands as two teams that a lot of people are overlooking, but I think they can win it. Another statistic from history is that the voodoo, the curse, whatever you want to call it, the previous winner has a shit World Cup. I mean, that's happened the last 4 or 5 tournaments, I think. Last 4 at least. So they definitely haven't won it back-to-back. Back-to-back hasn't happened since, I think, Brazil in the 70s or 60s. Maybe 60s, could be wrong. I haven't got the stats in front of me, but it's been a long time since the team's gone back-to-back. So that goes against France. But, hey, look, records are to be broken. I'm not saying that, no, it's the law, abide by it, blah, 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 it's gospel. No, I'm not saying that. It's just those statistics are so strong to me. The number one ranked team and the previous World Cup winner are just... I don't think France are going to bomb out either. I think they're going to qualify for sure. I think they're going to be in round 16 quarterfinals, no problem. Are they winning it? No, I don't think so. I don't see them going back to back. I don't see them being the team that breaks that hoodoo. I really don't. England have this gist of fucking it up, shit in the bed. But hey, look, they can play the final for sure. Argentina, Portugal. We all want to see that Argentina-Portugal final. I think that'll probably be the biggest World Cup final in the history. I don't think I can think of a final that'll be bigger than that. Two of not only the greatest players of their generation, but arguably two of the greatest players ever, playing against each other in the World Cup final. Both have never won one before. Messi's only played in one final before. Ronaldo never has. Playing against each other, get their first World Cup at their last World Cup is just incredible. Just the thought of that just is so exciting to me. All of those teams can win it. Honestly, they can make the final for sure. Belgium, don't look past Belgium. Just don't, because you're stupid if you look past Belgium. Everyone's saying that, their golden batch of players is aging or they're not playing anymore. No, Belgium's got a fucking good team. He's serious. Like, they're such a good team. Lukaku, yeah, he's the number one scorer and he hasn't been playing much. He's been injured and all that, but hey, he's a big time player. Have a look at players like Drogba, alright? Didn't always perform consistently in club, but when it comes to big club games or on the international scale, fuck, he had good games and he had great goals. And I think Lukaku's in the same boat. So, if I would pick one winner, God, it's hard. I want to say Germany or Netherlands. I'll go Germany, but you've heard it here first. Netherlands, Germany, they're my two. I think can win it. Can they play each other in the final? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that bracket works out. I haven't really got that in front of me, like I said. But yeah, please don't write off Netherlands or Germany or Belgium for that case. A lot of teams, yeah, look, a lot of teams in that top 20 can win it, in my opinion. Are they likely? A lot of teams, no, but you've got to be open to things because, you know, no one was guaranteed when Portugal won the Euros in 2016. I know that's not the World Cup, but let's be honest, a lot of the top teams are from Europe. So, yeah. Please leave your predictions down below. Anything you agree with or disagree with. If you want to keep up with my World Cup content, please hit that subscribe button, like this video. Let me know. If you've got your own YouTube channel or whatever and you do footballing content and you'd love to co-host or be a guest on my podcast in the future, I would love that. I am looking for a co-host to do my Asian Cup predictor video, preview, and then review video next year. That happens in June, the Asian Cup. So hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on my socials. My links will be in the description. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this World Cup. I hope you guys are too. Let me know who you're going for, where you're from. Do you have multiple teams? Are you like me? Are you half and half, or do you have your allegiance somewhere because you lived there for uni or you lived there for work or you travelled there and you fell in love with the place? Like me, like my top two teams are Australia and Wales because I'm half and half, but I also, part of my heart really barracks for Japan and Morocco because Morocco, I've been there. I travelled there for weeks. I love the place. Great people, just a great country. Really recommend going there. And Japan are just incredible team. So exciting. Awesome people. I know I have a lot of Japanese friends. I met Takuma Asano. He was on a show a few years ago for a friendly match. He was overly friendly. I'm over the moon that he got picked for this World Cup. He missed out last World Cup. I really hope he gets a goal. That'd be just incredible for him. If it's off the bench or not, I don't really care. But yeah, let me know who you're going for the World Cup. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to be? Because history tells us there's always at least one team that bombs out in the groups and embarrasses themselves. Look at Germany in 2018, Spain in 2014. Let me know who you think that's going to be. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to be the surprise packet? Will it be Japan again? Will it be South Korea? Will it be Ghana? Will it be Senegal? Let me know. This has been Goose for Goose of All Trades. And I will catch you later. And please, please watch that World Cup. Support it. Support your team. Love it. I'll catch you all later.